many of you remember this from last week. This is after the Niners beat the Packers on ESPN.
I'm about to make a confession. The single hardest thing I had to do this year was act like Brock Purdy deserved to be in the conversations with the other people we're mentioning in that tweet. Because he was playing extremely well and operating in that offense and distributing the ball to Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, we had to continue to include him in conversations with the Lamar Jacksons. We had to continue to include him in conversations with the Josh Allen. Those things are not alike. Brock Purdy is a fine player. Brock Purdy can operate in Kyle Shanahan's offense at an extremely efficient level. Brock Purdy doesn't raise the level of play of anyone around him. And so when you talk about Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, the people around them benefit from having those sorts of players at the quarterback position. Brock Purdy benefits from having the sort of players he has at the skill positions around him.
Okay. So how about now? Here's Ryan Clark today.
When you look at what Brock Purdy was able to do, Brock Purdy has separated himself from Dak Prescott. Brock Purdy has separated himself from Tua Tagovailoa. Brock Purdy has separated himself from guys like Kirk Cousins, from guys like Justin Herbert. He was asked in the most pressurized moment to be the best he could possibly be. And you know what magnifying glasses do, right? Think about this, huh? You in the club, right? You vibing, and she got on makeup, you know what I'm saying? She got her good weave in, her good wig on, and then the lights come on, right? You know what the lights do? The lights show the imperfections, right? Some of them scatter, and some of them walk closer to you. When they were looking for Brock Purdy's imperfections, he got closer to him. Brock Purdy became more of himself. He used his legs. He played above the X's and O's. Brock Purdy, in my opinion, if I'm looking at those two games Saturday, Brock Purdy did what we would have expected Lamar Jackson to do. Brock Purdy trusted himself.
We agree with
Brock Purdy put the football where it was supposed to be. Brock Purdy won the football game, down 17.
It's how it works.
I know it's how it works.
And all we're doing is
I'm not bothered
throwing logs on the fire of these narratives. So now it's Brock Purdy did what he's supposed to do. Although Ryan didn't go on to say that he puts him in the same category.
No, but he didn't. He did what Lamar was supposed to do. What Lamar couldn't do. Lamar's playoff record is now 2-4.
The Ravens had 2 turnovers in the end zone. And one of them wasn't his fault, but one of them absolutely was. He threw it into triple coverage and then threw his helmet down.
I mean, just by virtue of 4 playoff wins. 4 playoff wins. This guy's been playing for a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's got 4 wins in the playoffs. How many of these other QBs that we're talking about? Sure, Patrick's
got 4 playoff wins.
Josh Allen doesn't have 4 playoff wins.
Tua doesn't.
Lamar doesn't.
Kirk doesn't.
Dak doesn't.
Justin doesn't.
Justin doesn't have any.
Right. But I'm just saying all the names that he named.
Does Burrow?
I don't think Joe has 4. He has the 3.
Right.
3 to get to the bowl.
Yeah.
And then he didn't get the 4th. I think Russ does, if we're still counting Russell Wilson.
Yes, Russ has won a Super Bowl.
And Aaron Rodgers has 4,
if you've won
imagine.
a Super Bowl, that kind of, whatever. That trumps everything
In terms of quarterbacks who are current, who are active, who have 4 or more playoff wins. Russ.
Aaron.
Sure. And Patrick.
Yep. How about Stafford?
I think Stafford probably has 4.
Does he have any playoff wins outside of the 1 year that they went running through? Does he have any? I don't know if he's got any outside of that year.
Good point.
So I don't even know. If the top. Grandy's got something. What do you got,
I was going to say, Brock Purdy became the 4th quarterback in NFL history to win 4 playoff games in his first 2 years in the NFL. Ben Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, and Mark Sanchez, and now Brock Purdy.
Okay.
Kind of a weird cast of 3 others. But
Sanchez is the one that you're like, huh?
But only the 4th ever. 4 playoff wins in his first 2 years.
Yeah.
Burrow has 5.
Okay, Burrow's got,
Josh Allen has 5.
He does?
Yeah, Josh Allen's 5-5.
Okay.
It's a sneaky 5. And one other active quarterback, and you're not going to like this.
One other active quarterback has more than 4 playoff wins?
Oh, he's got 10.
And I won't like it?
You won't like it because Yes.
Joe Flacco.
It's Flacco.
Yeah, Joe Flacco.
Well, he's not even a starter.
Nah. He's not.
Mahomes, Rodgers, Flacco, Wilson, Burrow, Allen, and then it's Purdy and Stafford has 4, Goff has 4, and Jimmy G has 4.
There you go. So Brock Purdy has already equaled Matt Stafford and Jared Goff.
And Garoppolo.
And he's been playing football for a year and a half.
I love when your voice gets high.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, so here, by the way, this was not for nothing. Who cares about it? But you notice that? I wanted to almost do a counter with Ryan Clark. Ryan Clark is incapable of using either the name just Brock or Purdy. If you're talking about Lamar, we say Lamar. If we talk about Mahomes, we talk about Mahomes. If we talk about Purdy, you have to use the whole name. Did you see in that cut how many times he used the
Brock
full
Purdy?
name, Brock Purdy? Let's count them up. 1 minute, 7 seconds. Here we go.
When you look at what Brock Purdy was able to do, Brock Purdy has separated himself from Dak Prescott. Brock Purdy has separated himself from Tua Tagovailoa. Brock Purdy has separated himself from guys like Kirk Cousins, from guys like Justin Herbert. He was asked in the most pressurized moment to be the best he could possibly be. And you know what magnifying glasses do, right? Think about this, huh? You in the club, right? You vibing, and she got on makeup, you know what I'm saying? She got her good weave in, her good wig on, and then the lights come on, right? You know what the lights do? The lights show the imperfections, right? Some of them scatter, and some of them walk closer to you. When they were looking for Brock Purdy's imperfections, he got closer to him. Brock Purdy became more of himself. He used his legs. He played above the X's and O's. Brock Purdy, in my opinion, if I'm looking at those 2 games Saturday, Brock Purdy did what we would have expected Lamar Jackson to do. Brock Purdy trusted himself.
We agree with
Brock Purdy put the football where it was supposed to be. Brock Purdy won the football game, down 17.
11 times.
Right? Well, he used everyone else's full name, too, except for one Lamar.
He did. Well, he's preaching a little bit.
Yeah.
He's sitting next to Stephen A., and he's trying to learn from the man. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy.
And he does a great job, Ryan Clark.
I got nothing against Ryan Clark. But here's something else he could have said in a lot less than 1 minute, 7 seconds. I was wrong about Brock Purdy. End of segment.
We don't do I was wrong on those shows, though. We don't do
I know.
I was wrong.
I
it's
know,
not
but
I was wrong content, what they do on those shows.
But you know what? There's a way to do that. We do that.
But we don't do that. We're doing this. And this is not that.
No, but they're related.
They are.
They're related. We're all talking
distant
sports.
cousins.
Yeah, we're trying to make our points. You make them in a way that whatever, you think it pops a little bit. But like, for instance, one of the things that I've loved, the most self-deprecating moment of Bonte and Joe in the 2.5 years that I've been at this station, is they spent an entire afternoon making fun of themselves by replaying the video of them leaving practice after Trey Lance showed up.
Right.
And the two of them could not. Well, I saw him do this, and I saw him do, and Trey Lance, the next level, and Trey, this, that, and then they spent an entire day making fun of themselves. And I loved it. Like, there is room for that. So what Ryan is saying can be completely fine. His analysis of yesterday's game. But somewhere in there, it would have been nice to be like, so remember when I said that he doesn't elevate his teammates? That was stupid. It was a stupid comment when he made it. I called it out that day. So this is not a victory lap because now the Niners are going to the Super Bowl. Brock Purdy, he ran for 50 yards in the fourth quarter. Yet you're over here talking about this is the same thing that Jimmy Garoppolo did with these 49ers. It's not the same. It's never been the same. Why? Because Brock Purdy has elevated.
Who?
Brock Purdy.
Thank you.
Has elevated the whole franchise, Kyle Shanahan included. So that was the stupid thing that was said last week. And you can walk that back.
Yeah.
Walk it back.
Sure. And you can spend the rest of our days here at 95.7 The Game hoping that people in that business walk things back, and they never will. It's not what you do in that business. You don't walk it back. You don't admit you're wrong. What you do is you do what Ryan Clark did, and you go out of your way to praise a player that you spent the similar amount of time the previous week all but burying as not being as good as these other guys. And,
But see, I think you do. Nick Wright did. When the Warriors won a championship.
After like 6 years.
No, but Nick Wright, the whole thing about Andrew Wiggins. Like, you can do it. You can do it, Ryan.
It just doesn't happen.
Just put your voice into it.
Well, maybe if he wins the Super Bowl and, all the people who have that ammunition are running out of ammunition because you watch the game and you see a team down 17 at the half, and Brock Purdy, yes, that man was a big part of the comeback, 16-19 after the intermission, including hitting on his last 7 passes and rushing for 50 yards, as you mentioned. And once they were able to get the touchdown to Ayuk to cut it to 7, and then the Gibbs fumble, and you punch it in to tie the game, that thing was all but cooked.
Yep. You're listening to 95.7 The Game, KGMZ FM and HD1 San Francisco. Always live on the free Odyssey app, Twitch, and YouTube. Powered by First NorCal Credit Union, the smart choice for low auto loan rates and super simple online application process. You're listening to a Monster Monday, brought to you by First 5 California. To learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress, go to first5california.com. All right, back to the phones, huh? How about, let's see, Travis in Oakland. Hey, Travis, thanks for waiting. Thanks for calling. What's up?
Hey, what's up, Willard and Dibs? How you guys doing?
What's up?
Doing well, man. I got married in March. My in-laws are from Western Michigan, so I am just bathing in extra glory today, giving my in-laws, my new family, a bit of a hard time.
Travis, you didn't watch it with them, did you?
My wife could not care at all about the line. She's converted to become a 49ers fan. I got her into the Mojo Juju game, did an outfit change at halftime, moved her seat into the corner of the couch in our living room.
Good.
She's not allowed to leave for the rest of the second half.
Okay, perfect. That's well played. Travis, very proud of you. Good job.
Thank you. I wanted to call it, so first off, hell of a game, right? I got to give Shanahan his roses. I thought he coached a really well second half. Dan Campbell, a bit of a madman. I don't want to say Shanahan coached him, but really happy about Shanahan coach. And also, to the video of Purdy running over to him after he took that kneel and just how happy they both were. That was cool, man, especially after kind of how the Jimmy G stuff ended. But one thing I wanted to say, a couple callers ago kind of hit on this. A lot of the narrative I'm seeing today amongst the big talking heads, which I don't pay too much attention to, is around how lucky the 49ers were. I've heard it, Green Bay outplayed them for however long I was at that game. Yesterday, they didn't deserve to win, yada, yada, yada. It's been a lucky run. Why is the narrative not, this is a really good team who hasn't, let's just call it a spade, hasn't played well in the postseason? I don't think it's, am I crazy to think that if we get the effort that we had in the Dallas game, the Jacksonville game, the Philly game, do we not win the Super Bowl easily? Is it that unrealistic to think that something could change on the defensive side of the ball and Brock and the offense just come out how they came out in one of those games and maybe put it on Mahomes and the Chiefs? Look, I don't think they're as dynamic as Detroit, honestly, playmaker-wise. Of course, you have to deal with Patrick and Kelsey, but matchup-wise, this seems good, guys. Not trying to get too into the X's and O's, but just curious your thought. Why is the narrative this is a good team who hasn't played well?
Yeah, Travis, thank you very much. I think that this is solely a product of the word expectations, which if we could throw them into a big garbage disposal, I would. But they're part of human life. Expectations, as we talk about, they ruin everything all the time. They can ruin a good meal, they can ruin a movie, and they can ruin your thoughts on a football team. And the 49ers came in with such high expectations that they're not being judged on wins and losses. They're being judged on style points and how they look. This is what you can do to respond to someone that says, well, the Niners got lucky. All right, ask someone this. If the other team misses a field goal, is that a lucky break? What do you think about that? If the other team misses a field goal, you didn't block it, they just lined up, and they missed it. Is that a lucky break?
Not really.
You don't think so?
It's just football.
Okay.
It's football.
Right, but is it a break?
Yes. I think a lucky break is when you throw a pass that's overthrown and the defensive player not only doesn't pick it off, but has it bounce off his face mask straight in the air, and your guy makes a catch.
No
that
doubt.
to me is luck.
Great.
Jahmyr Gibbs fumbling, that's not luck. That's them mucking it up.
Yeah, he got stripped.
Well, he got stripped because he never had the ball, and he never had the ball because he went the wrong way.
I mean, he had the ball. He didn't have a great handle on it.
He had no grip on it, really, because he went the wrong way, and the exchange was terrible. That's not luck.
Here's the point.
That's bad football.
Fair enough.
Missing a field goal to me is not bad. That's bad football.
Okay, but it's a break. Like the Niners, the Packers missed a field goal. That was a break. We're forgetting. That happened to the Chiefs, too.
Yeah.
The Bills just missed a field goal.
They sure did.
How about Zay Flowers fumbling at the 2-inch line? Now, you could say, defense made a great play.
Great football.
Got a hand in there. But is it a break? Of course it's a break.
Of course it's a break.
We sort of make breaks this negative thing.
Right.
And they're imperative in sports. It's
especially football.
Partially you make your own breaks, but partially that's what happens with every playoff run. You have to have some breaks go your way. It happens every single time.
Absolutely. Every single game throughout the course of the year. And that's why, for me, the idea of luck in football is usually misplaced. I think the Ayuk play was lucky in many ways because how often yes, a lot of times defenders don't intercept footballs that maybe they could or should. That's fine. But you don't often have a ball like that bounce straight up in the air
of course not.
To where your own receiver can go down and get that.
But take this, for example. Aiden Hutchinson knocked down 2 Brock Purdy passes yesterday.
Yeah.
Now, in the Ravens game, those balls went straight up in the air and landed in the lap of a defensive lineman.
One of them did, yeah.
2 of them.
One of them was deflected at the line. The other...
2 of them. 2 of them.
Well...
Trust me. 2 of them.
I just watched the game last week, yeah.
It was deflected.
One of them was deflected downfield.
Yes.
And that was a bad throw.
And the other one, bad throw or not, it was deflected.
That's going to happen when you have an undersized quarterback.
Sure, but the ball can bounce in a number of ways. And there is a measure of whether you want to call it luck, breaks, whatever. Yeah, of course the Niners got a break with the way that ball bounced.
Absolutely.
Then again, Brandon Ayuk made an incrable play when the lucky bounce was presented. And
Eric Armstead falling on the fumble, that was a great play. Yeah. The strip doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get the ball. And is it lucky that Armstead happened to be there and dove on it? No, that's football. And that's a guy making a play. And is it luck that Reynolds didn't catch a pass that was highly catchable on 4th and 2? No, that's football. And that's where, when you're going to be a championship team, you make championship plays in that moment. And that's where Detroit lost the game as many times as the Niners won that game.
Well, the oddity here is that the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl for the 4th time in the Patrick Mahomes era, but they're not being held to the same standard because we didn't expect them to be here this year. We thought that this was a worse version of the Chiefs, and either the Ravens or the Bills were going to go. So the Chiefs are being looked at as, they're better than I thought. And the Niners are being looked at as, they're not as good as I thought, even though they've both arrived at the same spot. And the 49ers are actually favored to win the game.
Yeah, by a point, depending on where you shop for it. And I think that when you look at this Chiefs team, and we'll take a much harder look at them as we get closer to the Super Bowl in 13 days, the Chiefs team is good. Their defense is really good. One of the 2 or 3 best in football. And then offensively, you don't have the same amount of weapons, but you do have a quarterback who's now being injected into the GOAT argument.
Well, no doubt. No, I mean, that's the thing. And we'll see what that does to this particular game. We talk about the quarterbacks. We know that that's far from the only thing in the game. Like, I walked away at halftime yesterday. I wasn't really thinking about either quarterback. I was like, why are the holes so damn gaping on the deep? What's going on defense? So we'll see. We'll see if this turns into Mahomes versus Purdy or if it turns into something very, very different.
Right.
It may well.
Pacheco versus McCaffrey, or
who knows what. Who knows what. Or maybe
Kelsey versus Kittle.
Or Bosa breaks up the game. Who knows?